Hello everyone and welcome at the Opportunity Report online live session. My name is Kiara Hermsen. I'm a copywriter as a profession at I.O, but passionate about hosting events. So here I am. In the beginning of this year, we launched the Opportunity Report 2023, a collection of visions and insights from our experts to help you get the most out of the new year. You can still go to 2023.iodigital.com to download the report in case you haven't done that yet. Today, we want to bring these insights to you live in a personal way. We are now 2 months into the new year, and you've probably taken the first steps to achieve your digital, innovation, and marketing goals. However, in light of current economic and social developments, 2023 might not be just another year. Success may very well depend on being smart and trying new things to differentiate yourself from your competitors. So, that is what today is all about. Inspiration to accelerate your business in 2023. Our experts will share how you can make tangible progress in the areas of marketing, communication, technology, and how you can optimize your customers' experience. You have chosen the session, How to Measure the Value of Innovations Faster and More Clearly, by Uilke Duinstra, Service Line Director, Strategy. For 8 years now, Uilke has been forging innovation and strategy into a single offering. His secret to a successful innovation process? Getting the whole organization on board through an exciting story. One that presents you with all the angles to shape a future-proof business. In 2023, you will be less likely to make long-term investments. Return on investment has become a more important factor in innovation compared to recent years. Uilke will share ways that will help you validate innovations faster and to gain management support. By the way, you'll receive the Innovation Value Logbook in your inbox after the presentation to help you get started right away.
How to measure the value of innovation. So, looking at innovation, there's always the question on what is innovation? Because as an innovator, most times you're an explorer. And the question we often get is, what is innovation? Because innovation is something different to create value. It's about a different role, different products and services, and a different organization. And creating value is about staying relevant, making an impact, achieve business success. But often the question is, what is value? How do we measure those value? And how do we create that value? When we're looking at creating value, there's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of uncertainty about the unknown. And is there really that value? And I often make the comparison, as an innovator, you're an explorer. So on the one hand, you had the Vikings. And the Vikings were really good at navigating uncertainty by their skills. They were really good by tasting the soil and determining where they were. They were very good at listening to the sound of the birds and where they were. And that way, they were really good at navigating their skills. And by that skills, they could discover America. They were the first to discover America. And on the other hand, you had Columbus. And Columbus was really good at the vision, a big idea. And his vision, his idea was to find a new route to the West. And that was important, that this vision brought him to get the finance to make the journey done. And what you see is that even in the first, he got no finance. And he asked a lot of kings to help him to finance this journey, and finally got finance from the Spanish king to make his journey. And there were a lot of people who didn't believe that there was a new route to the West. There were a lot of people who didn't think that it would be a success. And there were even facts that stated the opposite of what he believed. But he ignored that fact because he had a strong belief that he could find a new route to the West. And as an innovator, you're actually also an explorer. You're an explorer to navigate the uncertainty. And you do that by, on the one hand, as the Vikings, by your competence, your skills to really navigate uncertainty and to see where you are and to determine your next steps by looking around you and see where you are and experimenting. And on the other hand, your confidence about the outcome. How confident are you that you have the right outcome? So actually, innovation accounting is about the confidence you have in the outcome on the one hand, on the other hand, the way you believe that you have the skills to make it right. Because to measure progress, it's about, on the one hand, your performance in your skills, and on the other hand, it's your confidence in the outcome, the result. And in that way, you evaluate progress. You evaluate progress when the KPIs are not yet there. And that is what we talk about today, is called innovation accounting. And that's a way of evaluating progress when all the metrics typically used in an established company, revenue, customers, return on investment, market share, are effectively zero. If you want to read more about it, it's good to have some references, some literature. A good book, I think, is Innovation Accounting from Dan Thoma and Esther Gans, or Andrew Chen, The Cold Start Problem. And The Cold Start Problem is a book about network effects and how to create a minimal viable network effect to get a platform going. It's really interesting. The other is a Lead from the Future from Mark Wade Johnson, which is about defining the future scenarios and getting future back towards today, and how to create the future with that image, that future scenario in mind. So it's about navigating the early signs of success. It's about the measurement of the value of innovation, navigating the early signs of success. And like I said before, there are no KPIs yet. There are no return on investment. It's hard to determine whether your business venture is going to be a success. So looking at what the Vikings did, looking at what Columbus did, the Vikings made their journey to America, and they made it first. And they did that based on their skills to navigate, based on the determination where they were and what's the next step. But their journeys weren't logged. They made rhymes about it, they made songs about it. But what Columbus did, he was very accurate on logging his journey. The speed of the wind, the destination. So that made the journey repeatable. And that gave us the idea to make a value logbook where you write down all your learnings and your insights, so your innovation journey could be repeatable. And this value logbook is something you can download. It's something you can download, going to Livestorm, seeing the downloads, you can download and use it as a tool. And it gives you an idea on how to navigate the uncertainty and how to measure the value of innovation. And that's what today I'm going to talk about. Looking at the value logbook, you have the canvas, you have two sides. On the left hand, you have your business idea, where you have your competence on how you have your experiments, your learnings, your assumptions. And on the right hand, you have your confidence in the outcome, your progress. Are you able to solve a problem? Are you able to offer the right solution? Are you able to achieve growth? And those both ways is something to keep track on, and to, in that way, like I said, measure the early signs of success. You can download this logbook, like I said, clicking on the button downloads in your menu. So on the left hand, we have competence to perform. On the right hand, we have confidence in a good result. And this is in basic the value logbook, which I'm going to explain to you by a case. And I'm going to talk you through all the metrics in a way to keep track on the early signs of success and measure the value of innovation. At first, looking at all the metrics on the right side, are you confident that you can activate the right target group? And then the problem metrics you can look at are, for example, the size of the target group. Is the size good enough? Is that the right target group? When you look at the problem, how often does the problem occur? Does it occur only once a year? Does it occur once a week? And is it then the right problem? And when you're looking at your target group and the people you're aiming at, are they already aware of the problem? So what is the amount of the number of early adopters? And is there the right problem awareness? What we often see is that, for example, you have an idea of that there is already a problem awareness. And when you interview people, you come to realize that that isn't always the case. So it's important to keep these metrics in mind, because those metrics give you the compass to give direction to your ability, your confidence to activate, because activation is the result of the right target group, the right problem, and the right problem awareness. Do customers feel engaged with the effectiveness of the solution? Looking at the solution metrics, you can look at the number of customers. Do I have the right customers? Is there already effective behavior? Do I make impact? Looking at the number of customers, what we often experience that people sometimes aim at the customers they already have with their established business, but with their business idea and with their business venture, they're aiming for another group, another customer. So is it the right customer, or do you aim at the customer you already know in your own company? Effective behavior is about, are you really keen on what is the interaction with your target group? So if you, for example, want them to push the buy button, do they actually do that, or do they just scroll down to your offering and not push the buy button? And impact, do you really solve a problem for them in their daily life? And this combination of number of customers, effective behavior, and impact, that makes the solution formula for engagement, because engagement is the result of the right customers, the right interaction, and the right result. Finally, are you able to prove the viability of your business idea? So there are some growth metrics you can look at for seeing if you have enough confidence in your viability. For example, do you have to put in a lot of marketing effort? Or is there already a level of virality where people tell other people about your idea and about your business solution? Is people who use and who experienced your product or your service, do they come back? Is there the right repeatability of customer success? And finally, do you see the right sales growth, the right revenue? Is there a flywheel of growth where you can say, well, we already have some revenue? This formula is your compass to really give direction to viability. So viability is the result of the right virality, the right repeatability of customer success, and the right revenue growth. These are some metrics, hopefully give you some insights on how to measure the value of innovation and how to be really keen on the early signs of success. It helps you to navigate. It helps you to navigate the uncertainty when the regular KPIs you usually use and you usually know aren't applicable yet because they're effectively zero. So, summarizing how to navigate on early signs of success, looking at your confidence in your activation, your confidence in your engagement, and your confidence in your viability. And what we will do when we look at the formulas on the left side, we apply them to the case of QB, which I'll tell you more about later, and we'll apply it to your own business idea, your own venture idea. And this is what we're going to do. So looking at the value log, it's about the confidence you have in a good result, in a good outcome, and looking at those three formulas of activation, engagement, and viability. Like I said, I'm curious of what do you believe you're capable of achieving? Looking at your own business idea, looking at your own assumption. But before we do that, I would like to introduce a case called QB. And QB is a case where it's about short form content, and it's launched in April 2020. And it's launched by Jeffrey Katzenberg, former CEO of Disney, and Meg Whitman, the former CEO of Hewlett Packard. And they had the business idea that for commuters on the go, they could offer high quality content on the mobile, which was a competitor to YouTube, to Facebook Watch. And they were really, ambitious about this idea that they stated, well, this is not short form content, this is QB. Short introduction, a video on what is QB.
The platform would be called Quibi, which stood for Quick Bites, and it launched in April of 2020. Katzenberg would team up with former eBay CEO Meg Whitman to explore this vision. So, what did Quibi aim to do? In summary, it was Netflix for mobile. Short-form, streamed video content, around 7 to 10 minutes long, but for mobile only. Because of Jeff Katzenberg's previous achievements and contacts in the entertainment industry, he managed to attract big names such as Jennifer Lopez, Steven Spielberg, Idris Elba, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Zac Efron, Kevin Hart, LeBron James, Liam Hemsworth, Chrissy Teigen, and the list goes on. NBC Universal, Sony, Viacom, Warner Media, JP Morgan, Alibaba, Goldman Sachs, and of course Disney threw money at the project to invest, $1.75 billion in total. The Quibi company had a Super Bowl commercial before its launch, and with 50 shows available at launch, they were ready to take the world by storm.
Our use case, which is now tried, true, tested, and proven, the market is there. There are 2 billion people who are watching an hour of short-form content on the go every day around the globe. If we go out and capture literally 2%, 3% of that addressable audience, we will have one of the great blockbuster businesses of all time.
So they said we could have great blockbusters of all time, where they say, well, our business idea is to add Hollywood quality and storytelling to short mobile content with a subscription model. And they say, well, if we can have 2% of the addressable market, we're able to reach 7 million users with short, high quality content for mobile commuters on the go. And this was their ambition, and they launched it in April 2020. And I will tell you a little bit more about this case, applying the metrics which we introduced already from the value logbook to this case, and see if they were right in their problem metrics, if they were right in their solution metrics, and if they were right in their growth metrics. But before we do that, I'm obviously also curious about your own business idea. So what I would like you to do is, if you listen to this seminar, just take a piece of paper and a pencil and write down your business idea. So, for example, my innovative business idea is that I add flexibility to mobility solutions for the last mile delivery. Or my business idea is that I apply digital twinning to predict failure costs of construction projects. What is your business idea and what are you able to achieve? Please write it down, and then we use your case, going through all the metrics so you can have this idea and check it for yourself on if you apply the metrics to it, whether you're right on your activation, whether you're right on your engagement, and whether you're right on your viability. So just write it down. If you have questions about it, you can ask them after the session. I'm happy to discuss with you. If there are problems writing it down, please let us know. But again, if you have questions, please ask them in the end, and we can have a discussion about this metrics and how it applies to your business idea. I'm going to talk you through all the metrics, starting with the problem metrics and the proof of activation. Looking at those problem metrics, I already explained the activation formula, where activation is the result of the right target groups, the right problem, and the right awareness. And like I said earlier, often there's an assumption that people already are aware of problem. For example, with sustainability, that they already are looking for solutions which offer an answer to be more sustainable. But in practice, often the problem awareness isn't always there. So be critical if people already are aware of the problem, or be critical if the problem only occurs once a year. Is it then the amount enough? So you can also quantify this problem metrics by looking at the size of your target group, the frequency of the problem, and the cost which arise with that problem, and define the annual problem size and see if you're right with your problem metrics. And the question is if QB had done that, because they wanted to add Hollywood quality and storytelling to short mobile content with a subscription model. And they were very secure about their target group. It was commuters with a mobile phone who were on the go watching short form content. But is it the right target group? Is it the right problem? Or is there already the right problem awareness? Let's watch a short video.
Unlike TikTok or the general YouTube, the content was high production, slick and premium. There were 3 categories: reality TV shows, documentaries, or original movies that were delivered in 10-minute chapters. The core vision of the project was that users would watch these shows on a commute to a bus or train station. They were so confident on this core idea that there was no TV option at launch. I bet by now you can already see a few problems with this idea. Betting on mobile commuters made their target market specific and small. It was a huge risk at its core. For one, people could just watch Netflix or YouTube on the go. YouTube has 2 billion users, and you can find whatever you want if you look hard enough.
So they were competing with YouTube, and they were focusing on mobile commuters. They had no TV option at launch. And if you look then at their target group, it's quite specific. They're mobile commuters on the go. And the question is it the right target group? And also looking at the problem, they were saying that they could add quality to short form content. But the question is, do people also experience that as a problem, the lack of quality in YouTube content? And therefore there's a lot of to be questioned and to be experimented in this problem metrics, because their focus was quite small and their problem assumption wasn't that strong. And I'm just wondering, I'm curious, if you look at your own business idea and you look at your own what you want to achieve, are you confident that you can activate your target group with the right problem? Are you confident you have the right activation formula? Just write down a yes or no for yourself, and write down what would be the metric you should learn more about. Is it about the size of the target group? Is it about how often the problem occurs and the costs which are arising with the problem? Is it about the target group and the early adopters? Do you have the right amount of early adopters with already the problem awareness? Just write it down for yourself. And like I said, I'm happy to take questions about that after the session. Looking at the second one. So we're starting with problem, now we're solution, and then the third is growth. But looking at solution metrics, it's about the right customers, it's about the right interaction, the effective behavior, and the impact. And with a lot of customers, what we often experience is that they come to us already having a solution where they tell us how good the solution is in terms of functionality. So our solution can predict, it can measure, it can give insights into, But the question is if that functionalities do solve a problem for the customer. So is it only a good functionality, or does it make the impact? Does it have the right outcome? Or people come to us and say, well, we have a lot of customers on our platform, which is great, but do the customers also have the effective behavior? For example, do they push the buy button, or do they only scroll to your content? So is that the right interaction? And like I said earlier, in most cases also big corporates have new business ideas, and they're applying that to their actual customer base they have as a corporate. But in many cases, their venture idea or their business idea is about another target group. And it's not about the customers they already have, but they have to look at other target groups and other customers. And these solution metrics are important to have confidence in your engagement with the customers. Again, looking at QB and their solution, they found it hard. They found it hard to really solve a problem for the target group. And Jeffrey Katzenberg explains why it's hard to really solve a problem for the target group.
Quibi viewed their content as premium, and they would be charging $5 a month for a subscription after a 3-month trial. But there's already a lot of competition there. Disney+, HBO Max, and Apple TV, just to name a few. Users didn't need another one. But in Quibi's eyes, they had figured a gap in the market. There was no premium short-form content for mobile.
The theory is that people are going to want to watch premium content, HBO level quality content on their phones instead of TV, in addition to TV?
In addition to it, if you're 25 to 30 years old, which is our core audience, you get up every day, you leave your home, and you take a television set with you. And between 7 in the morning and 7 at night, right now, today, you're watching 70 minutes, YouTube, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook Watch in this. And that stuff's fantastic. We think we can bring Hollywood quality to that kind of consumption and bring a level of storytelling that the creators in that world had never been able to afford to do because they didn't have the resources.
So they were saying, well, we can add Hollywood quality to that, get the resources to do that. But like I said earlier, do they solve a problem? Because Hollywood quality isn't always experienced as real and not always better than YouTube content. So they had the assumption that Hollywood quality was better and was solving a problem for the target group. By watching the 70 minutes a day of short form content, they were really looking for real content, and they were not looking for Hollywood quality, which wasn't always experienced and perceived as real. So it's good to see whether you have the impact, whether you really solve a problem. And also the effective behavior. So they wanted people to convert to the subscription, but they didn't do that because they weren't convinced about the solution. So the interaction, the effective behavior also wasn't there. In your business idea, I'm curious if you look at your engagement formula for the solution. Are you confident you have the right engagement formula? Just write down yes or no. And if you write maybe or write no, what would be the metric you could have a better look at? Is it effective behavior? Is it the impact? Is it that you're maybe focusing too much on the customers which you already service with your organization, and that you should look at another target group? Just curious, just write it down. And like I said, in the end, you can ask me questions about it, or we can have a discussion about that. Finally, the growth metrics. This is always fuzzy and exciting on when is a new idea, new innovation, a new venture really viable? When does it have enough revenue? There are some important metrics to take into account when you're looking at viability, when you're looking at growth. At first, you should look at the word of mouth. is it necessary to have a lot of marketing effort to really ramp up your solution and get the attention? Or do people tell other people about your solution? Do you have the right level of virality? When you look at people who use your product or use your service, do they come back? And is there the right repeatability of customer success? And finally, when you look at revenue, do you have the right sales growth? Because viability is the result of the right virality, the right repeatability, and the customer success, and the right revenue growth. And this gives you the compass to really give direction to viability and to growth. One final time looking at Quibi, you by now can already hear or imagine that they didn't survive. They didn't survive their business idea because there were some flaws in their problem metrics. There were some flaws in their solution metrics, and also in their the amount of marketing they needed to have the right level of virality. One final time looking at Quibi.
They expected 7 million users in the first year and $250 million in subscriber revenue in that year. But this proved to be a massive miscalculation. By July, they had over 1 million active users, but only 72,000 people had signed up to pay. It was clear that the company was in trouble and needed to change, and change fast. Lockdowns had started to ramp up in their launch month of April, and people weren't commuting anywhere. In October, Quibi added support for TV. They released apps for Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV, and Android TV, as well as Apple AirPlay and Google Chromecast. But it was too little, too late. In just 6 months, the decision was made to pull the plug and the service was cancelled. Now, Katzenberg blamed the catastrophic failure on the coronavirus. But was this true?
He blamed it on the coronavirus, and was this true? Actually, what was true is that he didn't have the right sales growth. So he expected 7 million users, and he only had 1 million users, and only 72,000 paying users. So from the users who experienced the platform, there was no repeatability of customer success. They didn't tell other people about that they should go watch Quibi and the short form content. So the revenue, the right sales growth didn't ramp up, and they needed a lot of extra solutions from TV, a lot of marketing, and they didn't have the right virality to really make this venture idea, make this viable. So looking at your business idea, the business idea you wrote down in your notebook, I'm wondering, do you have confidence that you have the right viability formula? Do you have, with your idea, the right level of word of mouth, of virality? Do people talk about your idea of your solution? Do people come back to once experienced your solution for another trial? And is it a repeatable customer success? And do you already see a growth of revenue? Just write down a simple yes or no, whether you have confidence in your viability formula, and also look at the growth metrics, word of mouth, retention. What is the thing you should learn or you should dive deeper into to get a better result? So again, I told you about how to measure the value of innovation. That it's on the one hand about your skills, your competence, like the Vikings, about how you can have your experiments, your learnings, how much critical assumption can you test and really navigate your way in the uncertainty. And on the other hand, what is your confidence looking at your problem metrics, your formula in activating the target group on the right problem, on your solution metrics, looking on your confidence in engaging the customer with your solution, and a third, also the confidence you have in how viable is your business idea and are you able to prove that? These are the core questions you should ask when you're measuring the value of innovation and when you're looking at the early signs of success and navigating the uncertainty which comes often with innovation and with new business ideas, venture ideas.
Hello again and welcome back. I hope the session you followed gave you some fresh and useful insights. As you all know, we have to adapt to continuously changing situations. So it's wise to grab yourself a front seat on the Insight Superhighway, because opportunities will arise. The sooner you, as a business, can implement change that is supported by a long-term vision, the better. Leading a process that's built on continuous evolution and improvement is essential to do so. So, do you want to use these opportunities in your favor? Let us know. Tell Ruth, Raymond, Tom or Uilke, or just send an email to business@iodigital.com. We are always available. Thank you for joining. It was a pleasure to see you, and I hope we will meet again soon.